Good evening. Thank you, thank you. All right, so we are so excited to kick off our oath and hooding and have it face to face. For all of the folks that are here, thank you for being here. For those of you who are live streaming, thank you for live streaming. But it is now time for the processionals. So please stand and welcome our graduates.
stand and bow your heads, please? Father, we thank you for this day and for the wisdom to recognize our gifts and serve you with gratitude. Bless these graduates as they pursue their dreams in unexpected ways. Provide them with the courage to move beyond fear and doubt, to find strength in their capacity to care for others, and to respect the diversity of humankind. Help them to be mindful that true success is born of meaningful relationships and a community that embraces peace and justice. Through your gracious spirit, we ask that you bless them with the patience as they explore new horizons. Bless them with humility in the face of success and abundance. Bless them with compassion for the poor, the sick, and the suffering. Bless them with generosity in the midst of challenges to come. Bless them with gratitude for friends, mentors, and families who have supported them through this journey. And bless us all, family, friends, faculty, mentors, and supporters, as we share in joy of their accomplishments. Amen.
You may have your seats. Good evening again. I'm Willie Capers, and I have the pleasure of serving as your MC tonight. So when I was given the card that says you're the MC, I had two instructions. The first instruction was, make sure we start on time. Can we check that box? Did we start on time, everyone? Okay, all right. So I'm doing well so far, I'm passing? Okay, all right. The next box said, make sure that we end on time, right? All right, so I will be working on that, making sure that our program flows, that everyone is where they're supposed to be, and ensuring that we can end, if not ahead of schedule, certainly on schedule. Real quick, as I bring up the dean, who's gonna, I know, give a very riveting welcome to everyone, I just want to stand before you and say that it is true that a journey is measured by friends and family better than by miles. When I look at this particular class, our journey has been riddled with many things: inclement weather, snowstorms that we haven't seen before, pandemic that we haven't seen in 100 years. But certainly our friends were there, our family was there, our faculty and staff were there, and we went through this journey together. And we'll always remember each other because of it. So thank you again for all of you who are here to help celebrate the occasion that we're here for tonight. With that, Dean Mosevin, we welcome you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Capers. We'll see if we can stay on time. They all know I talk too much. You all know I talk too much, right? So let's begin. I wrote a message for you, which is in the program. I hope you read it. But at this moment, I want to welcome all of you. I want to welcome every single person in this room. Good evening to all the graduates, family members, faculty, staff, honored guests. I want to welcome you to the College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences 2021 Hooding and Oath Ceremony. This afternoon, what we are going to do is we're going to honor the tradition of hooding and administrating the oath to our graduates of Doctor of Pharmacy program, Doctor of Philosophy program, Masters in Healthcare Administration program. It is my absolute honor at this point to introduce to you our keynote speaker for the evening. Now, if I were to tell you about the accomplishments of Dr. John E. Clark, that will take the rest of the time, the whole 2 hours we're allotted here. So what I'm going to do is just say a few words and read a few phrases about him that appears also in your program on the last page. Dr. Clark earned his BS in Pharmacy from Texas Southern University, College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, and his PharmD from Florida A&M University. Currently, Dr. Clark is an assistant professor in the Department of Pharmacotherapeutics and Clinical Research and Director of Experiential Education and Pharmacy Residency Program at the University of South Florida, College of Pharmacy in Tampa. This next item I tell you about Dr. Clark is very significant, and that is Dr. Clark is a vocal advocate for the creation of culturally competent systems of care as a means to address racial and ethnic disparities in healthcare. That is the foundation of Dr. Clark's years of professional activity. That's what he does. That was his devoted his life to do. Give you an example. Dr. Clark is the past president of the Association of Black Health Systems Pharmacists, ABHP. He played an instrumental role in the organization's influence on minority health issues, including the creation of ABHP Research and Education Foundation. And lastly, just this week, Dr. Clark was named the recipient of the 2021 ASHP Board of Directors Distinguished Leadership Award. Dr. Clark, we're honored that you're here with us. I know your school is also having a graduation ceremony this weekend, so thank you for coming back home. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Clark.
Thank you, Dean Marsovan, for that kind introduction and the hospitality that you have extended to me this afternoon. As I humbly stand before you today, my feelings run the gamut between gratitude for the confidence that you have shown in me to be your keynote speaker tonight, as well as excitement for being invited by friends who are more like family, and it's given me a chance to renew my friendships. This is a great honor. I thank you for allowing me to follow in the footsteps of other significant speakers who have participated in this time-honored ceremony, this tradition, the celebration that Langston Hughes has described as whose soul that has grown deep like the river. To the graduates, congratulations on your academic achievements, on reaching this milestone in your career and your life, and to the friendship that you have built over the years here at Texas Southern University College of Pharmacy and the Health Sciences. Those relationships would enrich your lives for many, many years to come. To the parents, congratulations to you also. You too must feel a sense of accomplishment and pride for obvious reasons. So today, take a deep breath, count to 10, and enjoy this celebration with us. To the faculty, you really put forth, you should pat yourself on the back for what you've done over the last few years. The future will show what great minds you shaped, and congratulations to you too for your patience, your dedication, as well as those extra gray hairs you probably grew on your head in the process. As for the students who are sitting here tonight, equally parts exhausted and somewhat exhilarated, pondering the wide, uncharted future before you, I can sense that you're probably asking two very significant questions. Who is this guy speaking to us tonight? And how long is he going to speak? Well, the second question I answer pretty easily, because it's not hard for me to remember the vivid day of my graduation. Strangely though, I cannot remember a word that the commencement speaker said that night. But I know that if he gave a very short speech, I probably blessed him. So I do not intend to load you down with words of wisdom tonight, because that would, number one, it would take too long. And number two, you won't be listening. And number three, you probably won't show up if I was asked to come and speak to you again. So I don't want to leave you with a reputation like what happened when the preacher was asked by his bishop to go to a new church. When he arrived at the church, only one member of the congregation showed up, which was a farmer. So he turns to the farmer and he asked the farmer, "What should I do? Should I go ahead?" And the farmer spoke to him and said, "Well, I don't know about that sort of thing, but I do know this. If I loaded up a truck with hay and I took it out to the prairie and only one cow showed up, I'll feed her." So the pastor took that message to me to proceed with the sermon. So he spoke for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Then after about an hour and 10 minutes, he stopped and he turned to the farmer and he says, "What do you think?" And the farmer said, "I don't know about that sort of thing, but I do know this. If I loaded up a truck with hay and took it out to the prairie and only one cow showed up, I sure wouldn't give her the whole load." So I don't intend to give you the whole load tonight, but I do want to give you a few words of wisdom that I think that I have sort of lived with. Now, the first question, I'll go back to that first question. I am a pharmacist of 40 years, a career clinician, a former associate director of clinical services, a former trauma pharmacist, critical care pharmacist, and ambulatory care pharmacist, and today now an assistant professor and a director of academic programs. Now, as a teenager, I never dreamed of becoming a pharmacist. I was born into a family 4 generations removed from slavery. My grandfather was a field hand that grew up in rural Mississippi, and none of my ancestors graduated college, and many never finished high school. My primary and secondary education were in a segregated school system that embraced Jim Crow laws and legalizing and enforcing racial segregation. That environment did not provide a role model for the encouragement of young black men wanting to pursue a professional career. I had not met an African-American pharmacist or thought that I could even become one until I came to TSU. Never seen one, never considered being one. I sometimes feel that I entered pharmacy by coincidence, starting with the very first day that I registered for school here at TSU. I had applied to come to school and was accepted as a chemistry major. And so my first day on campus, I was standing in a line listening to two students that were going to be my classmates discussing a chemistry class. But they told me they were going into the School of Pharmacy. So I couldn't understand how could they be taking the same classes and also going into pharmacy school. So I kind of annoyed one of the gentlemen who I'd come to know as Ronald Suttis and Cornell Poole, who actually became my classmates. So Cornell looked at me with some annoyance and suggested that I just change my major to pharmacy. So I simply drew a line through my box that says chemistry and wrote in there pharmacy. And the young lady registered me as a pharmacy student. At that point, I began to share the news with my family, who didn't know any black pharmacists either, so they got excited that I was about to become a pharmacist. But it was not as simple as just drawing a line through a registration form and changing your major. Dean Williams, who was head of the College of Arts and Science, called me on the phone and told me that you're in the wrong school, you need to go into the College of Pharmacy and take your courses. But something strange happened. He became sick that year and took a leave of absence, and no one asked me to change my course. So pharmacy became my major career at that point. And that's how I actually ended up in pharmacy school. After several weeks of thinking about it, my mother became a little annoyed and disappointed, but then I told her later that I would go into pharmacy school. I'm so glad that I got my start here at Texas Southern University. Why? Because simply TSU is a legacy institution. You as students are living a part of this legacy now. Men and women like Dr. Herb Jones, Dr. Edward Ujier, Dr. Patrick Wells, Dr. Mary Ann Galley, Dr. Barbara Hayes, up to including our own Dr. Rashid Mursabin. This list of visionary leaders is far from complete. As I look at you today, that visionary spirit lives in you. But it's important to realize that while these revolutionary men and women that I previously mentioned may be judged in hindsight, they are much, much like you and I. In fact, they are you and I. When faced with opportunities and uncertainties, they nobly struggled. They perseveringly resorted to their tools of experience, even in the face of fear, and made the decisions to strike the resistance head on. Jacob Riis, the Danish-born journalist and reformer, once said, "When nothing seems to work, I go out and I look at a stone cutter hammering away at his rock, trying to create this beautiful image. As he strikes the rock 100 times without as much as a crack showing in it, but at the 101st blow, that rock splits in two. And we know that it was not that 101st blow that did it, but it was all that went before for you. I have come to realize that that diploma that you will receive tomorrow is not just a validation of your graduation. It is a tool. It is a hammer. It is a hammer that gives you the permission to be the best pharmacist that you can. It also gives you the permission to use it to strike a blow against the rock of inequalities, injustice, discrimination, and disparities in healthcare. I have struck a few blows with that hammer, but the rock has not cracked and has not split. The revolution continues. The stone of obstacles that face us as a community and as a people are still with us. The challenges that face us as pharmacists have not gone away. As I continue my effort to strive for excellence, I also wait for the next stone cutter and visionary to step forward. It is your turn. It is now your time to strike a blow, to continue that legacy of the great leaders that have come to TSU before you and before myself. You may not really realize it, but today is also a rite of passage. The torch is being passed to you to become the next visionaries, the next revolutionaries, the next innovators, and the next stone cutters of healthcare. Now, what exactly does that mean? That means that you have to be involved with greatness, reaching through times that bring out the best in the world has to offer. It involves leadership that anticipates events, and most of all, change. As a visionary leader, you must influence the future and enable people to flourish in ways that may have thought impossible. You have to be dedicated, self-driven, hardworking, and endure opposition and look further and deeper than your counterparts. Are you up for this challenge? I know that you are. We are expecting that you are those people that you are the visionaries, you are the innovators. Why? Because the change that occurs in pharmacy practice is so rapid that you can no longer simply get up and go to work every day just to maintain your license and earn a comfortable living. Those days are almost gone. For some of us, these are exciting times, but for many of us, each wrinkle brings some added apprehension. So how you succeed in the years ahead lies in appreciating, understanding, and adapting to the change, the demand for your services as pharmacists, and using the education and training that you've gained here today to navigate through it all. The change will not stop. It never stops. You must strive to understand it, to recognize the opportunities presented, and anticipate threats before they materialize, and position yourselves to seize the practice opportunities as they arise. The treatment of illnesses with medicine is not going to diminish. The number of medicines that are available to treat these illnesses will continue to increase. The number of drugs that are requiring special knowledge to administer them will continue to grow. And you can see that just as what happened in the last year with the pandemic. The number of patients that will be treated with drugs will continue to increase, and the public will need you more in the future than they need you now. So the key to understanding this is to understanding the nature of the need that they have for you. The role is gradually shifting towards technology and pharmacy technician, and as dispensing is beginning to diminish quite a bit. There is an increasing need for pharmacists who can manage patients, including those in all different types of patient care areas, including home, acute, and long-term care, and immediate care facilities. So, the foundation to all of that is the education that you have gotten today here at Texas Southern University College of Pharmacy and the Health Sciences. You have to count on it, you have to rely on it, and for your sake, you need to use it. If you become educationally stagnated, your career is going to die. The educational stagnation is the kiss of death of your career. There's one major closing piece of advice I want to give you. It actually has 3 different parts to it. And that is to identify, develop, and kindle that fire that we know that is within you. Once you do that, you will always be successful. So how do you do that? First of all, you need to focus on others. Always focus on others. Caring for others becomes the ultimate source of professional and personal fulfillment. Always put your patients first. But I want to give you some simple advice from my mother. She passed away in 2001. She never graduated high school, but my mother mattered to others. Growing up, the people in the community were close and like family, and everyone knew everyone. When anyone needed anything, they came to my mother. I can remember an incident where a tornado came through my hometown, killed quite a large number of people. We as kids huddled in one room. If you ever been in a tornado, it sounds like a big giant monster that's out there. And as little kids, we thought that's exactly what it was. But later on in the night, somebody knocks on our door, and my mother leaves the house to go out and leave us alone. And we're screaming and hollering, saying she's gonna leave us here with this monster outside. But I learned later that what she was doing, she was helping the city to recover dead bodies that had been killed during the storm. And so I couldn't understand that. We were, as kids, thinking that it was bad for her to abandon us in that way. But when she passed away, what was amazing to me is the number of people that came to me to share with me all the stories that she had done for them in the community. My mother taught me one thing that I'll share with you. She helped me to understand the term legacy. It is what people think and say about you after you're gone and at your funeral. My mother's legacy is that she mattered to others. She taught me that I want my legacy to be that I matter to others. You have that opportunity today. You're in a profession that has a value to other people. You have to make sure that you matter to others. The second component of that process of bringing out this passion in yourself is to study your heroes. It's critically important. There are many heroes in pharmacy. Study them well. But like many of you, remembering that I'm standing on the shoulders of my ancestors, including Alex and Emma Adams, who are my great-great-grandparents, Julius and Alma Clark, who are my parents, and Wendell Talbot Hill, who is my mentor and pharmacy residency preceptor, who have helped me to recognize the tremendous debt I owe to them. For without them, I would not be here today. They are my heroes. And I've come to believe that the debt owed to your ancestors and to your family and parents that are sitting here tonight is to be paid by always being the best person that you can be, to achieve the things that they could not, and to always pursue excellence. You have that as an obligation to be the best. Like one of my teachers once told me, if you think you're good, then be better. If you think you are better, then be the best. If you think you're the best, then you prove it. You prove it every day that you put that white coat on. Prove that you are the best by pursuing excellence throughout the rest of your career, although you may never achieve it, because when you think you've achieved it, that's going to be your downfall. Number 3, always engage in continual learning. Learning and questioning provides a steady source of enthusiasm. Cultivate a habit of reviewing and reading in the medical literature, share what you learned to others, and also increase your knowledge and skills in any area that's going to help you enhance your career. I've gained a strong interest in Black and African American pharmacy history. It came from a question a student asked me a couple of years ago, which was, who was the first African American female to get a pharmacy degree? It took me 5 years of searching that information out and going back and forth with names that come up that appears to be that first person. And so finally, I found out who she was. And then one day, when I was looking through the Meharry Medical School catalog, I found her photo. I can't believe you how excited. I jumped up out of my seat, I ran down the hall, I got on the phone, I called everybody. I called my dean on the phone, went to his office and said, look, I found Matilda Lloyd. She's the first African-American female to get a pharmacy degree. So he stares at me with this strange look like wondering, what is the big deal here? That was the enthusiasm of this continual learning process. I actually got extremely excited by that, and to this day, the African-American pharmacy history has become my passion and the things that I want to do for the rest of my life. So number 4, stand on your principles. Develop those core values of professionalism and be the best person you can be. And whatever you do, don't compromise that. That is something that is going to be the foundation by which your passion and your fire will stand forever. And number 5, associate with successful pharmacists. Winners always have a fire in them. And it's just like this COVID virus that we're dealing with now. It's contagious, and if you associate with them, there's a good chance that you're going to get infected with this virus. So as you journey into your future, I'm reminded of a quote by the legendary and old baseball player Satchel Paige, who once said, "Don't look back, someone might be gaining on you." And the British pop star Lisa Stanfield tells us in her song, "No point in looking back, straight ahead there is so much more." You see, Satchel and Lisa were probably in the same place that you are today, remembering the good times, overjoyed by the accomplishments and achievements, relieved to have gotten through some of the not so good times, feeling some anxiety about the unknown and wondering what's coming next. As you move on, don't be afraid to look back, and but try to look back with the advantage of past experiences. As humans, we were made to look back and turn our heads in all directions and use that experience to help us to overcome fears and decision-making as we move forward to the future. Remember why people will need you. They will need you because you are necessary for the safe and effective use of drugs and the management of diseases. You are about to go into a proud and honorable profession. It has changed many times throughout its history, and it will continue to change as you venture into it. But you will always have within your power how to balance its history against its modern future and ultimately your career along with it. It is my prayer that in the future it would be as good to you as it has been to me, and that your challenges will be opportunities, and that your successes would be many. So in parting, I say, bon voyage. May the wind be at your back and the sun lights your path ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Clark, for those inspiring words. Another round of applause. I was taking notes back there. That may not have been the whole load, but that was a great meal, so thank you for that. Well, now we've reached the point of the program that you've all been waiting for, right? All right. Well, we won't prolong. Go, I hear claps. Go ahead. Feel free to clap. Yeah. We won't prolong it any further, but I feel like I better give everyone some ground rules. So here's the do's and the don'ts of this section, okay? All right, so we're going to bring up graduates in teams of 4. Everyone looks like you're in a great seat, so you're able to see them from where you are. Feel free to take pictures from where you are, stand up, but please do not move around. So stay in your area. You can shout out their name, you can wave at them, and all of that. All of those things you can do, please, but do not move from your area so that we can continue to have the graduates come back. All right? And please, as you are yelling out names and that kind of thing, please make sure that you have your mask on and respect those that are around you. Other than that, we are ready to begin with our first group. Looking for Dr. Solis. I saw her. She's over there in my blind spot. Okay. So are we ready for? All right. Dr. Moultrie.
Our first graduate will be our Doctor of Philosophy student. We wanted to invite the advisor to come up, if you would like to do that. Are you going to? Dr. Sung Gao is here to hood his student, so you can stand in the middle. All right, so we will now begin the fun. Our Doctor of Philosophy graduate in Pharmaceutical Sciences is Christabel Nkiru Ebizueme. Oh, okay. Dr. Gao, you may now hood your student. You can hood. You want me to hold it? Congratulations. You may now exit. Thank you. Okay, so we are now moving into our Doctor of Pharmacy graduates. And again, we will move into a self-hooding ceremony. I will call 4 names. They will all come to the stage, and then we will tell them you may now hood yourself. Okay. All right. Ahmed Muhammad Ababor, magna cum laude. Uzaamaka Abaju. Ariam Abraham. I just read your name. Ariam Abraham. Okay. Oyakinsolo Akindele, summa cum laude. Graduates, you may now hood yourself. All right, y'all got your pictures? Congratulations. You may now exit the stage. Okay. Faria Nusrat Ali, cum laude. Yuri Jewel Ammons. Chuck Emeka Asanyi, magna cum laude. Clarivale Bork, cum laude. Graduates, you may now hood yourselves. Congratulations. You may now exit. Jorn Alney Broussard. Okay. Collins Obina and Wareham, summa cum laude. Vivian Nkeanyelo Eziegwe. Felisa Maria Garina Farinas. Graduates, you may now hood yourselves. I feel like I need to help. Okay. Congratulations. You may now exit. Jamie Corf Cruz Ferrer, magna cum laude. David Blake Freddy. Sumaya Gendra, cum laude. Vincent Vin Wong. You may now hood yourselves. Congratulations, graduates. You may exit. Nusrat Hussain. Avery Hunter, cum laude. David Chimeobi Igwegbi. John Onyekansalo Ishioye, cum laude. All right. You may now hood yourselves. Congratulations. You may now exit. John Joseph, summa cum laude. Anamika Kalam. Sungjin Lee. Jamila Kansiga Moyoya. Graduates, you may now hood yourselves. Congratulations. You may now exit. Okay. Uchenna Matilda Mbama. Catherine Berenice Menendez. Dennis K. Mutai. Shri Kumar Nair, cum laude. Graduates, you may now hood yourselves. Got it. All right, congratulations. Andau Win. Dung T Mai Win. Lin Khan Win. Tien Kim B Win. Okay, it's fine. Graduates, you may now hood yourselves. Congratulations. You may now exit. You may now exit. Timmy Nak Win. Tong Tan Win. Wen T Quinn Win. Vin Nam, summa cum laude. Graduates, you may now hood yourselves. Congratulations. You may now exit. Edoquin Yinge Nekwa. Ugana Okoli. Noah Fazil Osbilgi. Lynn Tufan, cum laude. Graduates, you may now hood yourselves. Congratulations. You may now exit. Miriam Phillip, cum laude. Carla Navarre Ramos Guardado. Tasha Rodriguez Rangel, cum laude. Tasha Roshan. I don't have his card. Graduates, you may now hood yourselves. Congratulations. Woo-hoo. You may now exit. Sinju Raju. I feel like I'm off. Warren Rule, magna cum laude. Valerie Lisbeth Scarpetta, cum laude. Shavana Shalini Sharma. Okay. Graduates, you may now hood yourselves. Congratulations. You may now exit. And graduates, as you exit, I'm going to ask that you support your classmates in fixing the hoods. All right. Jordan Scott Simpson. Wait. I saw it. Aminette Tariba. Lauren James Sheridan. Jabeen Varani. Graduates, you may now hood yourselves. Congratulations. You may now exit. Why am I looking? Andy Vu. Ngozi Wajiaku. I'm calling. Allah Muhammad, cum laude. And Brene Malise Webb. I said it earlier, didn't I? I'll say it though. Send you Roger. Okay. Graduates, you may now hood yourselves. Congratulations. You may now exit. And that concludes our self-hooding ceremony. Although non-traditional, still impactful nevertheless. Congratulations, graduates.
Uh-oh. Sorry about that, Dr. Moultrie. It's time to do the oaths now. And it looks like you're up first. Then you can lead. Dr. Gao? Wow, there he is.
also of the pharmaceutical scientist. To accomplish this goal of professionalism and Christabel, can you please stand up? Please follow me. So all of the pharmaceutical scientist, to accomplish this goal of professionalism and ethical responsibility, I will accept the responsibility of my actions as a healthcare professional that will reflect on both myself and my school. Consider the needs of others before myself. Develop a sense of loyalty and duty to the professional of pharmacy by contributing to the well-being of others. And by accepting accountability for membership in the profession. So, foster professional competency through lifelong learning and striving for high ideas, teamwork, and unity within the professional. Committed to the laws of and codes of ethics of pharmaceutical scientists as set forth by the profession. Dedicate my life and practice to excellences by ongoing reassessment of personal and professional values. Maintain the highest idea and professional attributes to ensure optimal patient care.
Maintain the highest ideals and professional attributes to ensure optimal patient care.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so I would like to ask the class of 2021 Doctor of Pharmacy candidates to please stand. Additionally, I would like to invite any other pharmacists in the room who would like to recommit themselves to the profession to stand as we read the oath of a pharmacist. As you embark upon your careers, read through these words. I know we did it at White Coat. We did something similar. But you are now entering the profession of pharmacy as pharmacist. So as you read it, take to heart what the words say. And so we will attempt to read this in unison on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I promise to devote myself to a lifetime of service to others through the profession of pharmacy. In fulfilling this vow, I will consider the welfare of humanity and relief of suffering my primary concerns. I will apply my knowledge, experience, and skills to the best of my ability to assure optimal outcomes for my patients. I will respect and protect all personal and health information entrusted to me. I will accept the lifelong obligation to improve my professional knowledge and competence. I will hold myself and my colleagues to the highest principles of our profession's moral, ethical, and legal conduct. I will embrace and advocate changes that improve patient care. I will utilize my knowledge, skills, experiences, and values to prepare the next generation of pharmacists. I take these vows voluntarily with the full realization of the responsibility with which I am entrusted by the public. Congratulations, you may be seated.
All right. I just checked my watch. It appears that we are on schedule, actually ahead of schedule. All right, thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. It's hard to get claps nowadays, but thank you for that one. I appreciate that. Now I'd like to ask the Dean to come back up for closing remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Capers. We'll be here till 8:30, correct? I have a whole hour for my closing remarks. Closing remarks, graduates, are not so easy to do because there's a lot of pressure. Everybody wants to leave. You want to go have dinner. You want to party. Like, Dean, wrap it up. So I promise you I'll only be about half an hour or maybe 45 minutes. Graduates, all of you, how do you feel? Let me ask this question to the family. Family, parents, how do you feel? The family is more enthusiastic than you guys. I wonder why. Okay. Well, you did it. You did it during a pandemic. And last year, it was almost like it wasn't going to happen, right? It was a very difficult time. We had even difficulty placing some of you in rotations, as you remember, right? So, but you did it and you finished it. So what I did is I wrote you a letter. It's on the second page of your program, or the first page of your program. That's a message from me to you. I'm not going to read that to you, but I do want to ask you to read it. That's a message directly from your dean to every single one of you. But tonight in closing, I want to talk about two items. One of them you need to do very quickly, and the other one you also need to do very quickly, but you also need to do it forever. So the first item I want to talk about, remember, you finished this in a pandemic. The pandemic is not over. You all know this. You're all healthcare professionals. We're in the middle of it. We can wash our hands. We can wear the mask, we can socially distance, but you know as well as I do that the only way out of this pandemic is vaccination. So I certainly hope that every single one of you sitting in this room is vaccinated. And I certainly hope that you go out there and make sure that as a healthcare professional, every citizen in this country who's eligible to get vaccinated gets vaccinated. It is now your job to go out there and make sure that you create awareness when there is vaccination hesitancy, when there is anti-vax groups fighting us all the time. This is now on you. You need to do this come Monday morning. So that's the first thing that I asked you to do. The second thing I want to talk to you about, which has something to do with your lifelong success. And Dr. Clark mentioned that in his fabulous address to you. But for me to tell you what it is I want you to do, I first have to tell you the story. And some of you probably have read this book, and if you haven't, you're going to study for NAPLEX a little bit and board, and then after that you're ready to read something else other than pharmacy stuff, right? Okay. So some of you might have read this book called The Little Prince. The Little Prince was published back in 1943 by a famous French author by the name of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. And for those of you who don't know about the book, It's a tiny little children's fiction book. It's a very small book. And the book is about this little boy who comes from another planet. And what does he do? He comes to Earth, but before he comes to Earth and talks to the author of the book that tells you the story, he's been on other planets. So he tells the story of his experience on other planets before arriving here on Earth. Now, some of those planets that Little Prince visits are extremely small. Now remember, this is a fiction book. Some of these planets are so small that there's only room for one person. Only one person lives on the planet. And again, he tells the story. So the one planet I want to share with you is when the Little Prince goes to this planet and meets a king. Okay? So he meets the king, the planet is really small, so they have a chat, and it's time for him to go. And I'm actually going to read to you from the text of the book. So, I have nothing more to do here, Little Prince said to the king, so I shall set out on my way again. Do not go, said the king, who was very proud of having a subject. Do not go. I will make you a minister. Little Prince says, minister of what? The king says, minister of justice. Little Prince says, but there is nobody here to judge. Right? And the most profound statement that I hope stays with you for a lifetime is the next one uttered by the king. And this is what he says. Then you shall judge yourself, the king answered. That is the most difficult thing of all. It is much more difficult to judge oneself than to judge others. If you succeed in judging yourself rightly, then you are indeed a man of true wisdom. On behalf of all the faculty and staff at College of Pharmacy Health Sciences at Texas Southern University, please accept our congratulations, best wishes. This is your home. Please come visit. Have a great evening.
I was about to say, I thought he was coming back for more. Another round of applause for Dean Mosiman. We joke all the time because we're both long-winded, so it's like, hey, I tried to give him the hint. You know, we're ahead of schedule. Let's keep us there. I'm trying to keep my job here. So, guess what? We're at the end of the program. What I'd ask for each of you as we do the recessional and the graduates exit down the aisles, please allow the graduates to make it to the plaza, and they will meet you there. Okay? All right.